Hello friends, new year, new worm, right? Just kidding. Hope everybody had a great Christmas and hope everybody's having a happy new year. Sorry for the lack of content. 2023 did not want to leave me peacefully, as James Wolfgang says. But anyways, today it is of course 2024, January 1st, the start of the new year. And I figured, hey, what better way to start 2024 than to talk about some of the hopes and dreams that I have for Destiny, as well as a bunch of other people I have for Destiny too. I basically made some posts on social media and just asked people what their hopes were for 2022, and I collected some of the most popular answers over here. So let's go over them. These are these are in no particular order. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But first things first, we got to talk about exotics here, because I think that I saw more posts asking for these two exotics to come back than probably anything else that I saw, right? And the two exotics in question are none other than our two beloved D1 snipers, No Land Beyond and Icebreaker. I'll be honest, I don't know why they haven't brought back No Land Beyond. No Land Beyond, to me, it seems like it would be so simple to bring back. It wasn't busted by any means in Destiny 1. Of course, if you weren't there, No Land Beyond was an exotic sniper that its primary, I guess, like the features of it, so to speak, were that it was in the kinetic slot. It was the only sniper in the kinetic slot, right? Yeah, it was the only sniper in the kinetic slot. But also it had iron sights and it had a bolt action fire mode, right? So no longer was it just like, oh, you know, shoot your 4 or 5 whatever rounds. Like, you had to shoot, you had to slowly rechamber, and it was a slow rechamber. It was a very slow rechamber. And of course it didn't have a scope. It had iron sights. Now, just because it had iron sights, it did not mean that it was absolutely busted. Like that, those iron sights still had substantial zoom on them, and it wasn't necessarily easy to land shots. And for some reason, it still had a scope glare, which doesn't make sense to me, but I guess whatever. But yeah, don't see why Bungie hasn't brought that one back. I think it would be such a neat addition to the game, and hopefully we do see it come in the final shape. Now, the other one though, Icebreaker, there is a good reason why Bungie left Icebreaker in the past, right? And that is because Icebreaker could effectively create its own ammo, right? Like literally just for standing around doing nothing, it would regenerate its ammo, its magazine up to 6 rounds from thin air. I think it was once every 10 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, 5 or 10 seconds, you would just have another magazine, another round put back into your magazine. Couldn't reload it. You didn't have a reserve. It was just 6 rounds, as long as you could, you know, had some time to let your rounds recharge over time. The reason why Bungie took this out is because it broke ammo economy. I mean, it circumvented the need for any sort of special ammo whatsoever, because you couldn't even pick up special bricks with it. Like literally, it had to generate its own ammo, and it was used very frequently in cheesing like bosses and stuff. Like I remember sitting at the very top of the Templars arena and just having one person jump down there with a shield that knew the spawns of the teleport rings and go back and forth to each one, and we'd sit up top with Icebreaker and just snipe good old Templar till he died. Right, and I think Bungie removed it, of course, because of that ammo economy breaking, as well as in PvP, you know, the ammo economy potentially broke. But of course, I want to talk about how I think maybe they could potentially bring back Icebreaker. And the thoughts that I had here, number one, I think that it can't come back without its ammo regeneration ability in some way, right? Like, I don't think it's good to bring it back with just straight, you know, every 5 seconds you get a round back, right? Because that, again, that would bust some of these activities, like that would break some things, right? But I think that maybe Bungie could do an exotic perk where when you get a precision kill, it grants ammo back to straight back to the magazine, you know, similar to something like Polaris Lance. Maybe they have it so that getting kills with other weapons, right? Getting kills with your primary or your heavy weapon will give you ammo back into Icebreaker. Just something like that. I think maybe Bungie could work something out so that it's not so broken that it's just rampant everywhere. I think another issue is in the Crucible, you know, having the ability to just regenerate your ammo. We saw what Revoker did way back in the day. Revoker was an old Pinnacle weapon where you could fire a shot, and if you missed, it would just give you that ammo back, right? So you could you could literally aim at somebody, intentionally miss, or maybe unintentionally miss, and you get the ammo back. I think Icebreaker would kind of be the opposite of that. It rewards you for getting those precision kills in the Crucible. So as long as you can hit a precision shot and get a kill with it, it'll give you the ammo back. That's my thoughts on that. But with that being said, let's move on to another really popular answer. A lot of people said Destiny 3. Yeah, I'm kind of with y'all on this one. I want Destiny 3. It's not going to happen in 2024 because we're not even getting the final expansion or whatever you want to call it until the middle of the year. But it would be nice to see Destiny 3 come, or at least be announced at some point during the year. And the reason I say this is, you know, I like Destiny 2. I've enjoyed it just like I enjoyed Destiny 1. But Destiny 2 has grown very stale. It's grown stale. It's kind of boring. It's not what it once was, and it's not where it needs to be. And I think really at this point, the only way we can hit that reset button is if we hit the reset button, so to speak. You know, take away all of our exotics, all of our armor, all of our weapons, stuff like that. Make us start from scratch and grind through and get it all back. Now, of course, I don't think it's good that Bungie like takes, you know, Helm of Saint 14 away from me and then gives it back in its exact same form. I think that Bungie could, you know, remove exotics, you know, and stuff from the game, or not remove, but, you know, you no longer have certain exotics in the game, but when you get them back, they're back and they're in a newer, more fleshed out form, you know, like Helm of Saint 14. Instead of just blinding enemies in the bubble, you know, it gets some sort of better treatment. So now when I get it in Destiny 3, it's like, hey, I already had this before. Oh wait, this does something way cooler and way better, right? Same thing with weapons, you know, improve weapon functionality and stuff like that. Like, I think that's really what we would need in Destiny 3, because currently exotics and just loot in general is handed out like candy. Like in a given week, like I'm getting, you know, 20, 30 exotics, and I dismantle 99% of them. The one that I don't dismantle is because it has a very niche role that maybe in the future I could use, but at the end of the season it typically gets deleted from the vault anyways because I haven't used it. But yeah, I think the Destiny 3, I would love to see Destiny 3 come soon. And then of course the big overhaul with Destiny 3 is, you know, I don't want to say be stingy with the loot, but, you know, lower the loot drops. Make it like Destiny 1. Make us have to really, you know, chase the loot. Which I know that'll probably never happen because that's not friendly towards casual players, but that would be great to have it back that way. But anyways, that is Destiny 3. The next one, another popular answer was content just in general, right? Lots of people were saying that they're done after Final Shape. They want to see the franchise through. They want to see the end of it and stuff, so to speak. But after that, they're done. And the reason why is because the content is stale and it's boring. And I really have to agree. Like, I am bored of Coil. I am bored of, Riven's Lair. Like, I don't really want to do Starcrossed over and over again, right? Like, all of these things, they get boring. And especially in a 6-month season, like we had with Season of the Lost, like, it's just boring. You know, it's boring to be able to predict that, hey, you know, if there was a next season, right? Next season, we're going to get a 3-man activity and we're going to get a 6-man activity that we're going to have to do X thing on, right? We're going to have to go here to this place. We're going to have to kill these enemies. Like, it gets old and repetitive and boring. And I myself and so many other people want to see refreshing content, you know, not this seasonal stuff, like true content that is here to stay in the game. You know, the forges, for example, the Black Armory forges were really fun. They got taken out of the game. Gambit Prime was fun, got taken out of the game, you know? So I think that lots of people wanting to see more content, that is 100% something I am on board with. Like, I want to see more meaningful content added to Destiny 2 in 2024. With that being said, though, let's keep going here. More craftable exotics and more exotic missions. It's no secret we're probably going to get more exotic missions. Like that's Bungie's thing. Like, they do exotic missions, like every other season or something like that. So I'm not worried about that. But I do want to see more craftable exotics. And when I say more craftable exotics, I don't mean like every exotic weapon in the game is craftable, but just more than just one every other season. You know, every other season we get this new craftable exotic that we have to do an exotic mission for and stuff like that. And it would be nice to get, you know, like, for example, Hawkmoon. Hawkmoon was an exotic mission. Hey, how about when Final Shape drops, we get Harbinger back. The mission was called Harbinger. We got Harbinger back. And then we can go craft our own Hawkmoon with whatever roles we want, with the exception of, the exotics, perks, and stuff like that. Like, I think that would be a really nice thing to have, as well as just adding some more craftable exotics. Kvostov, of course, in Destiny 1 was a really customizable exotic, which was kind of lame because all its exotic functionality was the fact that you could customize it to be a pulse rifle or a scout rifle or an auto rifle. You could make it fire slow, fast, all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, I want to see more craftable exotics too, and not just like the one that comes like every now and then. Like, I want to see, I would like to see at least 2 to 3 added with Final Shape, and then in the subsequent episodes, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, see some more craftables drop, maybe 1 or 2 during each of those episodes. But yeah, of course, next one, we want to see the Light and Darkness saga end well. We want to see it end with a really climactic ending, something that it makes us excited, something that's like, wow, that was an absolute banger of a finale, right? Like, that is my hope. I'm pretty sure anybody who wants to see Destiny 2 through the end, at least through Final Shape, wants to see this from the Final Shape. Like, they want to see that the Final Shape ends in an absolute banger. And I mean, duh, like how lame would it be if we get a Lightfall or the final, like if Final Shape was as bad as Lightfall, right? Like, obviously we all want to see the Light and Darkness saga end well. That is one of my biggest hopes for Destiny 2 in 2024. Moving on though from there, of course, a lot of people said they wanted to see the Black Armory weapons come back. Hey, we just talked about this the other day. I want to see them come back too. Hopefully we will. I'm sure that we will. I doubt with 100% certainty, I can say there's no way Bungie will not give us Black Armory weapons back, right? I'm gonna skip this next one for now. Okay, here we go. That there is finally a 12-man activity and that it's fun. This is something only a couple people said, but I thought it'd be really fun to bring this up here. But we've had 6-man activities, we'd have 3-man activities. Of course, you have solo stuff like lost sectors that you can do, but we've never had a 12-person activity. And that sounds chaotic, but it sounds like it could potentially be a lot of fun. I would love to see a 12-man activity. We of course saw a glitch with some raids a couple months ago, or maybe a couple years ago at this point, where you could get 12 people into a raid, and it made raids, a cakewalk, obviously. But yeah, that would be really fun to have a 12-man activity. Have a 12-man activity. But moving on, hopefully Bungie will put effort into D2 instead of just filler content. I saw this one kind of ties in with the the content one that we talked about a little bit ago. But the content in Destiny 2 has felt like filler content, and really the difference between this one and the last one we talked about is I want to see Bungie, and many other people want to see Bungie put effort into D2. They want to see people, put their heart and soul into D2. With some of the exotic missions we've had, like, that's when they put their heart and soul into it, right? Like, we've seen some of these previous, missions and blah, 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 and they're absolute bangers. The Wicked Implement mission was an absolute banger in my opinion. Of course, yours could differ. Starcross, not so much. I know that not every mission is going to be an absolute hit, right? But hopefully we see Bungie put more effort into just content all across Destiny 2. More effort into, the patrol zones, more effort into the strikes and the raids and all this stuff, and I would say Bungie does a good job of putting effort into raids. I will say there's no raids in Destiny 2 that I think are weak. Even Garden of Salvation, because I know somebody's thinking it right now, even Garden of Salvation I think is pretty good in its own right. I think that it needs updated weapons and stuff like that. But yeah, that's that. But yeah, hopefully Bungie will put more effort into Destiny 2's content that's coming. Also, moving on from that one, a crackdown on cheaters. Of course, we know that what happened in October, Bungie fired a bunch of their staff, including a bunch of their security staff, and there have been increasing reports of cheating and hacking and stuff going on throughout Destiny 2. I have, I guess, been lucky enough not to encounter it, or I haven't noticed it maybe. But you know, obviously there's a lot of people out there that come across cheaters regularly in Destiny 2, and I mean, I agree. Nobody likes to face cheaters, especially in a game with like Trials, right? In Trials, where, you know, I've seen so many, like, you know, TikTok videos and YouTube videos of people like with a dead man's tail that's shooting like a pulse rifle, and it's stranded and stuff like that. Like, I don't necessarily know if that's a cheat, a hack, or if that's, you know, some sort of manipulation, kind of like the crafting or whatever. But Bungie does need to crack down on that stuff, because it's not fair to work your butt off in Trials of Osiris, get to 6 wins, you know, you're out of mercy game, stuff like that, and then you lose because somebody on the other team is not playing fair. Like, that's miserable, and I hope that Bungie cracks down on that in 2024. Moving on from there, a lot of people said Wrath of the Machine. Duh. We want to see Wrath of the Machine, Bungie. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know why they are so scared of putting Wrath of the Machine back into the game. Well, actually, I think we have talked about it before. I don't think it's going to come back, but I want to see it come back. Like, Wrath of the Machine was a Destiny 1 raid. It was tons of fun. It had some really awesome weapons in it that had some really cool aesthetics. Absolutely loved the raid. I really want to see it come back. I'm with everybody on that one. But moving on from Wrath of the Machine, Sparrow Racing League. Again, this would be so fun for Bungie to bring back. If you didn't know, back in Destiny 1, there were a couple, I think there was only like 2 or 3, but Bungie did an event called the Sparrow Racing League, and it was exactly what it sounded like. They had like maps designed and built specifically for Sparrow Racing, and you would start and you would go around this arena, and, you know, and you'd try to finish in first place or second place, and you got some really cool cosmetics and loot and stuff like that. But it was a lot of fun, you know, and it was a different change of, like, it was a change of pace. It was a different pace. Like, it was really fun. It was, you know, kind of like Mayhem in the Crucible, right? Like, Mayhem is just, it's a forget about everything, just have fun. That's what Sparrow Racing League was. It was a lot of fun. So hopefully we see that come back. There were a bunch of people that said they wanted to see community growth and just a more healthy community. Of course, it's no secret, a lot of the I don't want to say the Destiny 2 community, but a lot of people that associate themselves with Destiny 2 are very toxic. Not as toxic as we were back in Destiny 1, but, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, laugh at and criticize people for still playing Destiny 2. So a lot of people said they hope that changes in 2024. They also want to see Destiny's community grow, of course, which, if you love a game, you should always want its community to grow. So again, I'm hoping for the same thing. I want to see community growth in Destiny 2. But moving on from there, we also have the ability to sort the vaults in much more detail or much more depth than it currently has. Oh my gosh, I don't know how long we've been asking Bungie for this, but the ability to sort our vault is something that players have wanted for forever, right? The vault currently is so confusing, and if you play on console, like, you're kind of stuck with it. I play on PC, of course, and I don't deal with it. I always, like, even if I'm at the tower, I'll go use dim to find whatever it is I'm looking for, because it's just so much easier. Bungie, please find a way to incorporate, you know, searches and more detailed filtering into your vaults, into our vaults, sorry, right? Please, like, I'm begging for that. Lots of other people are too. Please bring that to us in 2024. Moving on to the next one, or actually I guess the last two here. I'm going to combine them into one. But people want to see more areas to explore on the planets and more Gambit maps. I probably got these answers about the same amount on the posts that I made, but I mean, yeah, Destiny is a game about exploration, right? That's what it initially started out as. I remember going to Venus and exploring around Venus, going into every single cave that I found, going into the Vault of Glass when you find a raid team, you know, doing it. Like you'd basically, for those of y'all who weren't there in Destiny 1, the Vault of Glass took place on Venus, and it was part of a patrol area, right? So you could literally be just in patrol doing your own thing, and you come across like where Vault of Glass was, and you'd see 6 people like building the plates and stuff, and you could go help them. It was really, really cool. It was really fun. But you know, exploration is a huge deal. I want to see more exploration planets, and of course more Gambit maps. Bungie you're sticking to Gambit. You're not getting rid of it anytime soon. Give us more maps. We are so sick of playing on these same 3 maps every single game. Like, I have learned all the secrets about it. I have learned all the you know, here's the best place to be if you invade. Here's where the invaders come from. I've learned it all. I'm over it. I don't like to play Gambit because it's so repetitive on the same 3 maps. And I mean, yes, we've talked about it before. You could say the same thing about any game. It's repetitive. You know, the Crucible is repetitive. You play on the same maps. Yeah, but at least there's like 20 or 30 something maps that we play on. Like Gambit, like, you know, it's 3 maps. Please add more maps. But with that one out of the way, that is just some of the stuff here that you know, a lot of community members wanted to see. I agree with basically all of these, and these were the most popular answers. But of course, I want to hear your hopes and dreams for 2022. What do you hope to see? Sorry, 2024. I think I said 2022. What do you hope to see in Destiny 2 in 2024? Let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you like this video, drop a like, helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content, and do me a favor, watch the videos you see on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you will like them. Guys, I'll see y'all tomorrow for sure. Bye for now.